All right, welcome everyone. I am Neosha Franklin, and I'm the Director of Communications at St. Louis Community Foundation. I also have on the call today, Emily Bauman. If Emily could, there you go, wave to everyone. She is the Communications Associate, and so she will also be here to help manage our chat feature today, as well as help answer any questions while I'm actually going through the presentation. I just want to give everybody a heads up that this presentation is really just to talk about what Give STL Day is, how it works, what to expect throughout the day, how the prizes work, the prize schedule, when you can expect to receive your checks, and really just to address any types of questions that you may have surrounding the day. We do have a good lineup of other presentations for Give STL Day in general that talks about like digital marketing strategies, converting donors into long-time donors, things of that sort. So this is really basics, how to, and a refresher. So I see a lot of new faces and a lot of new names and also a lot of familiar faces. So hello to you as well. So we will get started. And again, I will try to monitor the chat as we go, but if not, I will definitely try to get to all the questions by the end of the training and at the end of it. And I anticipate this training usually is about an hour and 10-15 minutes. If I can go faster, I will, but I will try to get your time back today as soon as possible. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my presentation. All right, and share my screen with you. All right. I think we are here. Here we go. Everyone can see that? We're good? Okay, fantastic. So Give STL Day, this presentation is called How to Make the Most of the Giving Day for Your Nonprofit. All right, so who hosts the Give STL Day? The St. Louis Community Foundation. We have been in the St. Louis area for over 100 years, believe it or not. And this will be our 8th Give STL Day, which will be on May 5th, 2022. The St. Louis Community Foundation, just a little bit of information about us. We were founded January 21st, 1915. We are the second oldest community foundation in the country after the Cleveland Foundation. And when we were founded in 1915, our trust documents state that we were the St. Louis Community Trust, and we were a long look ahead for the betterment of the mental, moral, social, and physical needs of the people who now are here or reside within St. Louis. So basically, the Community Foundation is here to support the community, the region, and to be here into perpetuity as long as possible. Our mission, we hope to inspire purposeful philanthropy that connects community and donors to build and preserve a more equitable and vibrant region now and forever. And our values, we definitely uphold ourselves to the higher standards of stewardship. So we value integrity. We're really about community. Give STL Day is one aspect of our community efforts and initiatives. We really value equity and strive to provide opportunities for all and to eliminate inequitable conditions, particularly those due to race. And we also value inclusion, where we seek to engage all voices in leading change. And so Give STL Day falls within all 4 of our value statements. So let's get right into it, what you all came here to show up for and to learn more about. So let's talk a little bit about what is Give STL Day. So Give STL Day is a 24-hour day of online giving. It starts at midnight and goes to midnight. And it's really thought to bring our community together, which is our commitment to you, our nonprofits. We started Give STL Day, like I said at the beginning, 8 years ago, as a way to provide community trust and to nonprofits, but also as a way to help you all actually fundraise for your nonprofits on this one particular giving day. We work with Neon One, previously Civicor, if you are familiar and have participated over the years, but they are our technology provider that creates the online infrastructure and the giving portal platforms for Give STL Day. So the site that you actually log into to register, the site where you will receive your gifts, your donations, and where you can actually update your donor profile, that is the site that's powered by Neon One. And we have used them probably, I think now for about 4 or 5 years. So the number one question, have you registered for Give STL Day? Registration closes April 22nd. We really try hard to keep registration open as long as possible. We recognize that we may not be able to get to every nonprofit, and some people hear about it sooner than later. We did try to open up Give STL Day in November of this year based off of some of the feedback from the nonprofits. However, we recognize that a lot of nonprofits were really focused on their year-end giving campaigns, which is totally fine. So you have about 4 months to actually start the registration process. If you are new to Give STL Day, or if you are a returning organization to Give STL Day, there are 2 different resources that are 2 different instruction links that you can actually click on so that you can actually register. If you go to givestlday.org, and in the top hand corner on the right hand side, there is a link that says register. You will select nonprofit, and then you can select returning organization or new organization and follow the prompts. So if you are unsure if your organization has participated before, what will happen is when you get to the registration page, they will ask you to actually input your email address to see if you have an account associated with your actual profile. We recognize that there's lots of turnover in development, communications, board members, volunteers over time. And so there might actually need to be more than one organization or more than one user on the platform. So if you need help with that, and if there's some reason that you can't get into the platform for some reason, all you have to do is enter your nonprofit EIN in your email, and send us an email with the name of the contact who will manage the profile, a contact title, a phone number, and an email, just so we can verify that you need access to that particular profile. And we will get you all registered and situated so you actually can have access to your nonprofit profile. All right, sorry, I'm looking at the chat, I got distracted. Sorry. All right, this is the actual new nonprofit or returning organization page that I was talking about. When you go into nonprofits and log in, there's a blue button at the bottom where you can log in as a returning organization. Or if you have not participated yet, you can apply as a new organization. We actually did a nonprofit onboarding training last week. So if you are new, I really suggest that you go back and watch that training. It's actually linked on our website. So that way you can get an idea of how the profile looks. It's very intuitive. We haven't had anyone not really know how to fill it out, but there can be some confusion a little bit if you are new and have never logged into the site. So just be sure to reach out to us or use the blue support feature on the website, which we will talk about here shortly. So let's talk a little bit about Give STL Day 2021 statistics. I like to provide this as an overview and a recap for those of you who have not participated, but also for those who did participate and may not have had an opportunity to review the recap document. So last year we raised $4.48 million, which is the most we have ever raised in our Give STL Day platform. We actually started out raising about 1.5 to 2 million and have increasingly saw growth year over year. We had a total of 35,192 donations that actually went through the platform. Those are not unique specifically. Unique donations would be if I gave more than one time to one particular organization, I wouldn't get counted twice, I would get counted one time. We had 18,656 donors. We had 1,076 nonprofits that actually received donations on the actual platform. And then we actually had 582 personal fundraisers, which we will talk a little bit about in just a little bit. Here are some other highlights. We were awarded $176,500 in prizes, which we'll talk a little bit about today. The Community Foundation, myself and my team, we actually solicit and fundraise to actually get money to be able to give back to you all on the day. The Community Foundation doesn't make any money off of this day. We actually fundraise and support and serve basically as a pass-through for your donations that go on to you. We actually, during power hours, which we will also talk about, we generated $1.3 million during that time. This graphic here is just to give you an idea of what the donations by category was. Human services was the highest, the actual highest category to receive donations. This is all self-selected information by the nonprofit. So if you select that you are a human services organization, or religion or animal organization, you have about 12 different options to actually include on the profile. We recognize that not every single category may be represented. We try to do our best. And we try to actually make sure that everyone has an opportunity to win a prize by offering prizes based off budget size, category, and different category prizes. If you could please mute your microphone, that would be great. There's over 100 of us. Thank you. Okay. So here are some donor demographics based off of the analytics that we were able to pull off of our website on the day. What we have found is that the highest demographic that actually gives on our giving day is ages 25 to 34 with a 21.64% rate. And they are also 66.5% female. We've seen the females tracking heavily in giving year over year. With the exception of about 2-3 years ago, there was a higher percentage of men giving during that time. We do believe that since the COVID pandemic, we actually saw more people give, which has been great during a time when, when the world was uncertain around if charitable giving was actually going to continue to be at the forefront of people's mind during such a great pandemic. We also had first-time donors, and this is information that donors can actually put on their profiles when they actually go through the checkout process. The number of first-time donors actually decreased in 2021. We had 8,999, which was about 25% that we had, and last year in 2020 we had 31.28%. So again, we kind of saw a decrease, which is not surprised. 2020 was at the brink of the pandemic when we saw more givers. 2021, we did see that decline a little bit, but still, I would say 25% of first-time donors on a giving day is actually really good compared to some of the other data and statistics that I get from community foundations who host these days around the country. Peer-to-peer fundraisers, we will talk a little bit about that, but we had in 2020, $264,000 were raised from about 532 personal fundraisers versus 2021, 259,582 from 582 fundraisers. So this is very close. I don't really see there's not been a lot of trends around whether or not organizations think that these are beneficial or not beneficial. What we have seen is that the organizations that actually put some strategy around their peer-to-peer fundraisers by getting organizations or groups of individuals together to do them fare very well. So we'll talk a little bit more about that too later in the presentation. So we have some most generous countries and cities. Obviously, United States is probably our highest demographic. We also touch Finland, Netherlands, Austria, and South Korea. St. Louis is the most generous city that actually participates on the day, following Chicago and San Antonio. And on this site, I'll just highlight how many users actually go through our site. So in 2021, we had 53,000 individuals actually come to our website to actually donate on the day, and had 374,000 page views. So what we like to do with this slide too is this is also a selling point for sponsorships and fundraising support throughout the day, so we can offer more prizes and incentives to you. And Facebook. So on social media, Facebook tends to be the #1 awareness platform where people found out about Give STL Day. Facebook is also has been tracking very popularly over the years for us. I believe that a lot of it is because a lot of our nonprofits are on Facebook. There's an opportunity for more video, more interaction and engagement that happens on Facebook. So we have seen this number steadily increase over the years. And we have seen, Twitter is good too, but it's not as high as Facebook. So in my recommendation, based off of how people find out about Give STL Day, I would definitely say use whatever platform is more popular for your organization. But I would venture to guess that Facebook may be the way and the route for this campaign as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about awareness for Give STL Day. So what do we do to create awareness? The Community Foundation, we coordinate the community-wide effort for you all to participate. We invest in the giving platform, the Neon Giving Day platform, so that is free. There's no fee to participate. We did consider a fee a couple years ago prior to the pandemic, just because we needed to offset some costs, but recognizing over time, if we can continue to actually fundraise for this day, we're trying to figure out how to get it to be more sustainable, which is something that a lot of the community foundations actually struggle with over time. So currently it is free. So if you know a nonprofit that has their 501c3 status, and would like to participate to try to fundraise on this day, encourage them to sign up. We offer prizes and incentives for nonprofits, and we also offer training opportunities, all for free for participating nonprofits. We generate awareness with media exposure. We take about $75,000, depending on how much money is actually fundraised throughout the day, and actually dedicate to actually promote the overall day. We typically do not try to hone in on one particular nonprofit. However, what we do, if there are reporters or media agencies that reach out to us for stories, we will try to pitch as many stories as we can that is based on their level of interest or needs or what they are faring for throughout the, throughout that particular day. We work with Channel 4 and Channel 5. We do radio spots. We started doing billboards, putting billboards and banners on buses and bus shelters. We work with the St. Louis Business Journal, the St. Louis American, the Post-Dispatch. We do several digital promotions. And then we also do, there's also a lot of earned media opportunity with story pitching and press releases. So we definitely really try to saturate the St. Louis market. And then we also reach over into Illinois, as well as we do have an Illinois presence on our Give STL Day platform and several Illinois nonprofits that actually participate. So this is just a quick snapshot so you all are aware that we do actually highly promote this day. So how should your nonprofit create awareness for the day? So we do the awareness for the overall giving day for Give STL Day that's going to occur on May 5th. However, you as a nonprofit should ensure that all your staff and all your board know that you are actively participating in the day. Let them know that when you're signed up, when you're ready to go, and get them on board so that way they know what they should be doing before, on, and after Give STL Day. So assign them something. If you want them to start to create lists of people to contact, if you want them to, on the day, dedicate themselves to send out 10 social media posts before, during, or thank you posts after the day, just make sure that your key staff, your volunteers, your Young Friends boards, your brand ambassadors, they're all aware that you are actually going to participate on the day, because I can tell you just over the years of experience, it gets very, very hectic in the social and digital space on Give STL Day. And it's going to seem like people are getting inundated with tons of emails and social media posts. It's going to happen. So you want to make sure that you are definitely at the top of mind on your donors and in your networks on the Give STL Day. You want to create and review strategies and activities with everyone involved. I would create a basic FAQ to answer basic questions. We provide a FAQ on the website for the entire day, but if you have very specific information for how your organization is going to actually handle the day, I recommend doing that. So for example, when we do at the Community Foundation is I put together, I used to when we were in the office, a binder, a hard copy binder, and gave everybody a copy. Now it's digital in case there are contingency plans. If the site goes down, what are we going to do? If we need to actually move our offices at some place and locate, if they can't contact me or get in contact with another staff person, who they should contact. So just make sure that everyone knows what's going on. And then you can also create fundraising pages, which we will talk about here in just a few minutes. The next thing that we recommend doing is utilize our toolkits and resources. So thank you for Emily Bauman, who has graphic design experience. It's awesome and on my team. We have a lot of different options and different resources in our resource section on the website, and I will show you that in just a moment. But we provide the Give STL Day logo and branding guidelines. We provide sample social media graphics. There's a sample communication timeline. In this timeline, it outlines what you should be doing about 1 month to 6 weeks out before the actual campaign. We provide sample emails to donors, sample letter to donors, sample social media posts that we update every year. And then we also recommend that you follow us and tag us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at stlouisgives.org and use the hashtag GiveSTLDay. All of these materials are editable. You can customize them and use them as you please. You don't have to use them, but if you would like to, we highly recommend that you do. As there are lots of resources just to even get you started. We recognize that not a lot of nonprofits might not have a full communications team or staff, but these are just things to help get started and give you some ideas on what you should be doing or how you can get started with your campaign. We also provide graphics in terms of logos, images. We have a postcard, posters, social media graphics, and icons. And this year it's all on a Give STL Day Dropbox, which I'm going to show you here in just a moment here. Just a second. Dropbox. Okay, well, let's go back here. So can you all still see my screen? Yes, okay. So this is the Give STL day. When you log in, ignore the dashboard organizations. This is what the admin site looks like, but what you're really interested in as a nonprofit is this resource center. When you click the resource center, this is what will pop up. You'll see the sample nonprofit communication timeline, the support center, sample letters to donors, and a lot of other fundraising and resources from Neon One, the actual platform that we actually use. In addition to that, if you go to givestlday.org and you go under for nonprofits and select resources, this entire page will show up to show you a ton of resources that we have. From graphics, here's the registration instructions. But here's one thing that may be different from years past. We put everything into a Give STL Day Dropbox. So if you click this Dropbox, we have Give STL Day graphics, icons and logos, and resources and samples. So if you click into here, it's organized for you by icons, logos. There's images that don't have any text over them. There's a sample postcard, poster, social media graphics, and our branding guidelines should you need it. So let me just give you an example of our postcard. So if you click here, we have one for print, and we also have one for digital use. We recognize that not everyone will use these materials. Again, this is all an option for you. If you click on here, here's an option all together now for you to use digitally and to print off. Now, this is all graphics and branded for Give STL Day as a whole. So this is what the Give Day Dropbox looks like. However, if you want to actually go in here and make some edits to your own, we do have some templates for you to use on Canva, which we'll talk a little bit about in the presentation. But if you click on these links here, it will open up a Give STL Day link for you to actually use a template that you can use on your personal social media networks. You will click Use Template. You have to have a Canva account in order to use this, and we'll walk through that a little bit. But what it will do is if you have a Canva account, it will log you in and you'll be able to have a copy of this in your account, and you can actually go in and make changes to the images and the text and everything else that you would like to do on here. So this just gives you some options so that you are fully ready and equipped to be able to participate and have your social media strategy and your marketing strategy for the day. Okay. All right. All right, so how would you create awareness? You want to use call to give graphics, there's infographics. If you have video and images really are trending very highly right now on social media, Facebook and Instagram in particular, especially with Reels. We have not explored TikTok with Give STL Day, so if there is a nonprofit who wants to explore that and wants to do a test run and let us know how that goes, that would be awesome. But we are sticking with Facebook because that has been our biggest traffic driver, as well as Instagram. We, encourage people to use memes and stickers and just tell stories, lots of them. You want to be visual as possible. And the other thing that's really, really important too is to really think about the strategy in terms of how you're going to connect with your donors and when and how often. I do know, like I said, there's a lot of concern around donor fatigue, but I think that if you actually sit down and think about the strategy of how you're going to tailor in and tap into your donors, you'll be successful on the day. All right, so here's a slide on Canva. You can create your own graphics in Canva. This is important. I like to talk about Canva because it's free for nonprofits. If you don't have a Canva account, and especially if you don't have a graphic designer on staff, but if you do, it's really great for them to use. But if it's something that you want to be able to give to an intern, give to your team, give to anyone on your staff so that they can create things for you or help create material, all you have to do is go to canva.com and sign up, and you go to canva.com/Canva for nonprofits. Click the apply now and fill out the application and click submit. I believe when we applied, it may have taken 48 hours to get a reply or to get the actual approval. So just make sure you give yourself enough time so that you can actually apply. And then with that, what I really enjoy and like is that you can get up to 10 members on your Canva account where you have access to premium images, videos, music, and other graphics. You can download all of your images. You can actually put your own individual organization's brand colors into Canva to customize for your own. And then you can actually create lots of different things, videos on there, moving graphics, things of that sort, which is really cool. Again, we talked a little bit about the Canva templates. This just clicks through and gives you the templates that are actually sized for the actual platform. So for Instagram, Facebook and Instagram obviously connects now. If you have a Facebook account and an Instagram account, as a business or a nonprofit, they will connect and talk to each other. We also have the post for Twitter and the postcard Canva templates. So all of those are already sized, so you can go ahead and start using those and actually create the ones that you would like. So here are some design tips, and I like to give this because we see a lot of things and things that are a lot of different graphics that kind of happen throughout the day. And you're really trying to get people's attention. There's so many things that are happening throughout the day on the giving day and leading up to. You want graphics and imagery that's really going to pop and that's really going to get people to stop. So you want to stick to 2 fonts, usually contrasting fonts, which is what we have here as an example. Limit your color palette. You can I would recommend using the Give STL Day branding colors if you want to, or including that within your current branding. Keep it simple. People are not going to stop and read a long post, but if you can put some text on your post or on your story in that regard, think about 15 seconds. That's probably the longest amount people are going as they scroll on their phones. Typically, that's how people are donating and on Give STL Day. You want to use clear and crisp imagery. Like I said, if you actually sign up for Canva, you'll have access to images. However, it's really recommended to use your own images should you have them, or if you have clients that you can actually photograph, just make sure that they actually have photo releases on file. And include the Give STL Day logo in your organization logo. If you need some inspiration, I always like to give some examples of what exactly some of the other nonprofits are doing. Search Give STL Day on all the social media platforms. I really enjoy looking at Twitter because you can see a lot of different samples here throughout the day. So for example, I included last year, Tashara Jones was raising, our local mayor. She was trying to raise money for St. Louis college kids. So she had actual 44-second video. At the time when I screen grabbed this, she had 827 views on the day. And then also here's another one for Twitter. So that was on Twitter from Sherwood Forest. So let me just show you how I do this. What I typically do, you just log into Twitter, you go to the Give STL Day hashtag, you type it into the search bar, and literally just look to see what is showing up. On the giving day, this is crazy insane. You can see what everyone's posting if they're using the hashtag, and we tend to trend. So, and then obviously there's like ads, right? We'll skip all of those, but there's Gives Day from one of our friends, Chris Strub, who did some trainings for us. Last year, Focus St. Louis had a video. There's the video I was talking about with Tashara Jones. This is Freedom Arts Education Center, and just a whole bunch of things. So if you need some ideas or creativity or just trying to think about what you could do, this is a good way to kind of see what other nonprofits have done over the years. It goes on till it doesn't anymore. We also have, there's a Give STL Day. You can actually follow Give STL Day, hashtag Give STL Day on Instagram, which is really cool. So anything that there's 9,000 posts. We created an Instagram page, I think 2 to 3 years ago. So the Twitter probably has way more hashtags than Instagram, but it does give you an idea of how people are actually using the hashtag on there. You see all of our trainings are there, we use it. There's kids, there's people putting their photos in there with their shirts on, things of that sort. So I really highly encourage you to just take a chance to take a look at some of that. Here is another search Give STL Day on social media for Instagram. Instagram had, I picked up some things that were very bright color. This was our cornerstones. They did, what I really liked about this particular image is they talked about how much money they raised, how many donors they had, and they had a thank you. It was like all inclusive. They had their logo, the Give STL Day logo, a couple colors within their brand. It looked really, really great. Forest Park Forever had something up as well. They had about 555 likes. So I always like to just follow the hashtag and follow some different nonprofits to be able to get some ideas and some inspiration. All right, so this is something that I think is important too. So another way to create awareness for your organization is to create an ambassador toolkit for your nonprofit. So just how we are creating an ambassador toolkit for you with logos, images, sample language, all of those things. You should think about doing the exact same thing. So you're brand ambassadors. These are people who love, trust you, and support you and donate you already. your volunteers, the staff at your organization, your friends, your influencers, people who already know and love you. I recommend that you create a landing page for them on your website or in some capacity where they can go find all the information that they need digitally. Talk about your mission and why they should become an ambassador for your organization so that you can help raise money on the day. Talk about your nonprofit mission, your values, and then the expectations of being a brand ambassador. So you need their help spreading the word, sharing on social media, sending emails to their friends, maybe texting a couple people and saying, hey, we would love for you to donate on Give STL Day. The minimum donation is $10. It's very easy. Here's a link, make the donation today. Very simple language, sample language that they can send before the day, during the day, and after the day. What I have found is if you can give someone, especially even myself, even now, if I can easily copy and paste some text into my social media or into a text message, I am more likely to send that instead of having to sit there and think about what I'm going to say, unless I absolutely want to. So you want to give them sample language that they can use on social media, email, and text messages. If you have imagery or pics, or if they are more comfortable actually doing a testimonial video, that would even be even better. And then encourage them to set up peer fundraisers, which we'll actually go through in a couple minutes, and then thank them as ambassadors. We also have a nonprofit collaborative community on Facebook. This is a Facebook page that we started, I want to say right around the pandemic. And the group is really intended to be about Give STL Day in general, and a place for you all to talk to one another and to share ideas, ask questions if you want to. What we have seen is that it's very popular about a couple of weeks prior to the actual giving day, but a lot of people just kind of sit in there and actually don't comment and don't really engage. It is not a place for you to promote your fundraiser, not a place for you to promote your volunteer event or recruit volunteers or anything like that. It's really meant to actually just have people together and talk about what's working, what's not working, or if they need help with something, or if someone has some, needs some help creating some graphics or some strategy, things of that sort. That is helpful. However, if this doesn't seem to be helpful over the next couple of years, we'll probably end it because I don't want to waste anyone else's time. We do post as administrators, we post information on updates and reminders on the trainings, things that we keep getting questions about, for example, like when registration may end, budget categories, things like that. We get a lot of those questions. So just use this if you're interested. We do approve you as an organization to participate. And it's right now, I think there's about 250 people that actually are in the page. If you do post events or anything that's not related to Give STL Day, we will delete it. We will delete the post on there. So just do us all a favor and stay on topic. All right, so let's get into the prizes, early giving, fundraisers, and donations. So this is what's important about the prizes. The prizes are awarded based on your annual operating budget, not your program budget. Every organization should pick a micro, small, medium, or large budget categories. This is a required category or required field on the actual nonprofit registration page. This is not a public number that the donor will see every time they go onto the site. They can search by micro, small, medium, or large. They won't have the exact number. Let's say you're a micro organization and your budget is really like $372,000. That number won't show up. It'll just be within the budget category of $250,000 or less. We use that so that when we actually go ahead and pull the prizes throughout the day, we have micro organizations bucketed and categorized with micro organizations. So that way, when we pull prizes, a micro organization is not in the same category as a large organization, obviously, because there might be different donor bases there. And so if you have questions about this, it's not something that we actively are going to say you're not a large organization or that, or anything like that. However, we will check if something looks a little off, if we know you're a large organization. So don't try to game the system. We will find out. So the other part that's really important too is mission category. So this year, and you have the option of selecting 2 mission categories, okay? Your primary category will be used to pull category prizes. The reason why we opted for 2 is because we recognize especially after nonprofit feedback, we recognize that some nonprofits may fall into 2 different categories. So for example, you might be in education and you might be in a school category. So if you are going to be in an education category and a school category, you need to figure out which one you want to have primary, which one you want to have secondary. We will take a look at the schools versus the education. If you are a school, I recommend that you put your primary category as a school, not as education, just because we know that oftentimes a lot of the schools are a little bit bigger than some of the nonprofits that may select education as their primary category. We really try hard to, right now this year, I'm in the middle of fundraising, trying to get prizes for every single category oftentimes, and sometimes it doesn't happen that way. And it's usually at the discretion of the funder. So we try to do that and try to keep it as equitable as possible. But please, 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 whatever primary category that you select, that's what we will use to pull category prizes at the end of the day. Okay. So for all the prizes, like I said before, we actively fundraise for each nonprofit. For the nonprofit prizes, the Community Foundation does put in a certain amount of money to be able to offset some of this. So what we will have is 24 cash hourly prizes at $1,000 each. So there'll be $24,000 given, $1,000 cash prizes to a nonprofit throughout the day. The nonprofits, you can only win one hourly prize during the 24-hour day of giving. So if you are a nonprofit and you have that nonprofit, you say you're strategizing around, I don't know, the 6 a.m. power hour or the 6 a.m. hour or the 7 a.m. hour, and you win, you cannot win another prize throughout the day. However, you can still win an end of day prize, you can win an early giving prize, and you can win a first and last donation prize. So in total, you can win $2,000 in cash prizes if you don't win anything else throughout the day. So there's 6 power hours, which we'll talk about. The early giving prize, we give 2 of those at $500 each. So this is if you are any organization that gets a donation at any time between April 5th and May 5th, you go into a bucket and we'll pull a random nonprofit who received a donation during that time. So it's my recommendation that you get someone on your team or you make a $10 donation before May 5th. So that way you can get into that bucket and have an opportunity to win a $500 prize. We do a first and a last donation prize. So we do midnight starting at, sorry, just a moment. We do midnight starting at midnight. We do a first donation prize and we do a last donation prize. Just one second. And then we also do an end of day prize, which is also very, the end of day prizes are to be announced because they are usually by category. So we'll do a $5,000 prize for micro, small, medium, and large. And then we'll do an end of day prize based on the category, depending on who we get as a sponsor. Just one second. Some power issues. Okay. So for power hours, we have $20,000 that are grouped into 6 power hours throughout the day. The actual full prize schedule we will work on, it will likely be released in March, but this is how the power hour formula works. The power hour basically is there's $20,000 in 1 hour. So the very first power hour throughout the day is 6 a.m. That still over the years has been the most the least amount of dollars raised during the 6 a.m. hour, which yields more power dollars throughout the day. So that could be strategy for you. So this is the formula we use. We take how much you as a nonprofit raises, we divide that by how much is raised during that one particular hour, and then we multiply it by the prize incentive amount, which equals your amount of the power hour dollars. So here is an example with numbers. If your nonprofit raised $1,000 during one particular hour, and the whole Give STL Day power hour, during that one particular hour, we raised $50,000. We'll take $1,000 divided by 50,000, multiply it by $20,000, and your organization would get $400 of that particular power hour. Same, and another example is down at the bottom. Now, mind you, this is a very large number. Sometimes it could be $100, it could be 20 cents on the dollar. It's very, very dependent upon how much money is raised throughout the day. Last year, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I know last year, I think the most amount of money that someone won or a nonprofit got off of a power hour was probably between $80 and $90. And that was likely at that 6 a.m. hour because a lot of people aren't up, they're getting ready for work, they're not giving during that time. So why do we use this formula? We use it because it's a weighted formula. It's less confusing for donors and easier to message if they should ask you. It actually helps speeds our reconciliation process a lot faster. Our finance team has to reconcile a 30,000 line spreadsheet every single donation. It also gives an opportunity for you to create strategy for your donors to give more, and gives more time for your donors to donate. And then we also don't cap the amounts at specific amounts. We used to only say during a power hour, a donor can only give $100 during this hour. So we decided to go away from that formula to be able to offer more dollars throughout that time. Now, the more money we can fundraise and the more money and sponsorship dollars that we get coming in, we always like to try to increase those power hours. A couple of years ago, I think we had power hours that were at $25,000. So it's really just contingent upon how much money we can raise if we want to actually include or expand those hours. So here are the power hours. They have not changed. If you want to write them down, if not, don't worry, we will post this presentation. But the full price schedule will be coming. I usually try to post it, like I said, in March. So 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. The 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. hours are typically the hours where most people are not giving, so you have more opportunity to get more dollars during those hours. So how do you maximize your donations? We want you to secure multiple matches. So this always comes up. Because the people think that, or some nonprofits think you can only have one match. There's an option for you to include the matching amount on your profile. You can have as many matches as you want, and you lump them together. So if you have 2 donors, 3 donors, 4 that want to give you $1,000 each, you have $4,000 worth of match dollars. Now, here's what we do not do. The community foundation does not take in your match dollars. You as the nonprofit will keep track of your matches from your donor, and you will inform your donors, excuse me, if you reached your match on the day. So if you actually, if you reached your $1,000 match, then that really means you made $2,000. Donors can match dollar for dollar. I recommend that you secure matches as early as possible, and you can actually input that on your actual profile. Uh-oh, there we go. So to maximize this, I would say reach out and ask your donors and your board members if they would actually do a match. No match is too small. We've had donors who actually wanted to do matches of a couple $100. You can name your match. You can be creative with that, double your dollars, $100. But set deadlines and timely responses, because once the website shuts down later in April, you won't be able to go back in and update. There will only be optional fields for you to actually input and actually update. So just be sure that you are being prepared and you're being very ahead of when our deadlines and schedules are actually released on that. Let's see a few things. Okay. Sorry, I was checking the chat. Okay. Let's keep moving here. There is an option to set an event goal. You do not have to do this. And a lot of nonprofits, they think that once they reach their goal, they think that donors will not want to donate to them anymore. I've not heard that or have not seen research on that. However, you can, we did make this an option last year that if you did reach your event goal, you can up it on the actual day. So that's a field that will be open for you. So for example, if you have an event goal of $1,000 and you have a match of $500, during the event, the first $500 you raise will be matched 1-to-1, causing your total raise to be $1,000. And then, so that's $500 from the match and $500 from live donation. So in that particular situation, you actually reached your match. So the actual site will actually calculate it for you. It will show your match and your event goal actually on your site. Again, we do not collect the matches. Do not send us a check to the community foundation for your match dollars, because we won't accept them or we will send them back to you. So you take care of that piece. It's the honor system. Okay, and so then there's an option for your donors to create fundraisers. We recommend that, that if you do want to do this, there's no limit on how many you can actually choose. These are similar to GoFundMe type pages. We have actual step-by-step instructions on the page for you to actually do and fill out. We will actually also have an actual live training on how to do fundraisers and peer-to-peer fundraisers, specifically with the Neon One platform provider. From my understanding, it's going to be very easier than it was in previous years. I know last year, if you participated, it was a little confusing. So we're going to make sure that we get that, that training done for you all and be able to answer any questions that you can do that you have on that day. This is a custom web page with images, videos, and tutorials that they can actually share on with their friends via social media and email. Nonprofits, you do not have to approve fundraisers, but you can delete them. So I recommend that you check often. We haven't had any issues with, people not wanting to have someone donate for actually create a campaign for them. However, if it's a controversial person, or if it's something where you're like, I don't think this is really meant to be here, you can go ahead and delete. Nonprofits, you can actually create your own peer-to-peer fundraisers too. You would have to actually log in with a different email address to actually get that to actually work for you. So just keep that in mind as you are thinking about doing peer-to-peer fundraising. All right. So let's go through accepting donations. So we accept donations online only at givestlday.org. We do not accept any checks. Do not have your donors send checks to the community foundation or anything of that sort. If there are donors who give to you who have donor advised funds at the community foundation, we actually are in communication with them around how they actually want to send, who they want to donate to, and how they're going to receive those checks. If you are a nonprofit that receives a donor advised fund donation from us for Give STL Day, you'll be notified via email. You will receive a paper check, and that amount will be applied to your dashboard on your profile on the actual giving day. You will likely get your check before the giving day if they get their grant recommendation into us prior to our deadline. The donor advised fund grants will not be included in your actual check that comes from the Community Foundation for Give STL Day. The events that collect money must be during early giving or on the Give STL Day. So if you're deciding that you're going to have an event to promote Give STL Day, you can have an event between April 5th and May 5th because the website will be open for donations. There is an option for the donors to cover the fee. We encourage donors to cover the fee. We have about 80% of donors that actively do cover the fee. That is a platform fee and a credit card fee. Tax receipts come from the St. Louis Community Foundation. Please do not send your your donor a tax receipt saying that it's from your organization, because the money did not go to your organization. It came to the community foundation, and then it's filtered out through you. If nonprofits donors need a tax receipt online prior to, obviously taxes are coming up and people might want to go back and they lost their receipt in their email, what they can do is go to givestlday.org, and there is an option down there to get a tax receipt from the previous years, all the way up until I think 2011 maybe. So that is really important. So just make sure that you actually are not sending your donors tax receipts. Send them thank you letters, but not tax receipts. We get tax receipts all the time, and that's not accurate. So,
Neosha, we just had a question come in that I think more people might be interested in. Do we know what the fee percentage is for those transactions that we're asking the donors to cover?
Yeah, so we filter in about 5.5% on the fee. It's a set number. We haven't, Neon Raise has not raised their platform. We use Stripe as the payment processor on the back end. And so it's going to be about 5.5%. And like I said before, 80% of donors actually do choose to cover the fee. Oh, here we go. All right. So early giving begins April 5th. So any donor can log in and make a donation in real time on the website. The credit card will be charged that day. They can either give as a guest or they can create a profile and give again. The donor's credit card information will only be saved if they've created a profile. And if they do give, if a donor gives through it to any nonprofit during this period, you all are eligible for a $500 prize. However, the donation will not show on your page until May 5th. The nonprofit, though, as an admin, you can go onto the back end to see if your organization or what donor actually gave you a donation. The information just won't be public. So there is an option too, when you register under the user, if you do not want to get an email every single time someone is sending you a donation, it gets a little crazy actually on the day. But if you want to get an email, a particular user to get an email every time a donation comes through, you can set that in the user settings and the admin settings. So you do have an option to do that. There's an option also to include donation levels on the actual profile page. I think this is really important. You don't have to do this, but it's important because people can get an idea of how much $10 can actually make for your organization. I always like to use the St. Louis Area Food Bank just because it's easy to make sense. So if they say $1 donated, the food bank can provide 4 meals for the bi-state region. So you would enter $10 and the label would say feed 40 families. So if you want someone to give you $100, for every $100, it will provide X amount of book bags for kids under the age of 5. or something like that. So think about the strategy in that way. Also think about not always starting your labels off at $10. Oftentimes, if we see as a user and our brains do this, if I see that the first donation is $10, I might actually click 10 bucks. If I see that it's 25, I'm like, I could do 25. So just think about the strategy of how you want to actually include those in. There is also no limit to how many donation levels you can have. I don't recommend having more than 5 or 6, or maybe even 3. I think 3 is probably the best, like 25, 50, 100, if it makes sense for you. I've seen some organizations that don't do that. That's totally fine, but that's definitely a strategy for you to think about as you are trying to figure out how you're going to strategize for your day. Here is the platform, or here is the back end part of the donation levels. On the left-hand side, all you have to do is hover down. It's the 4th one down where it says donation levels. And the far right, there's a little blue button that says add a donation label, where you'll be able to actually put the amount in there, and you can take it off or hide it or show it depending on how you want to do that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the checkout process. So once an organization is logged in and you're ready to go, you're ready to accept donation amounts, we're ready for giving day, right? The step 1 of the process as a donor is you're going to enter your amount. So if you don't have any levels there, it will look like this on the screen. If you have levels on your account or on your profile page, it will have the 10, the 25, the 50, whatever it is that you set. Right now, the site is not in donation mode, so you will not see these giving levels appear. It will not appear until April 5th. Okay. Step 2 is the checkout process. This is just like any other checkout process. That when you're online, they'll put in how much they actually want to have on their cart. It'll say today's donations. This is an example of, I made a sample donation to Hootie's Rescue Haven for $52.50. The $52.50 is the $52.50, the $2.50 is the fee that came along with this donation. Underneath that, it has, would you like to give to the Give STL Day 2022 fund? It will say, would you like to support Give STL Day 2023? What we do with those dollars is we put that back into the pot for prizes and incentives for the following year. That is an option amount. They don't have to click that. It's not anything that is required. They can skip that and continue if they want to. Also on this page, I want to also point out in the top right-hand corner, there's a recommended nonprofits option. Where you can actually view additional nonprofits that may pop up that might be similar to what you've donated to before, or maybe not. It just depends on how the algorithm is set up. And then there's also this common questions part. If they have questions throughout the process, they can select those before they check out. Then step 3, they can either log in to make their donation, or they can log out. Or continue as a guest. Either one is fine. If they log in and actually create a profile, they'll be able to go back and see who they gave to at any point in time, and actually create an account. So if they create an account, they can actually go back and log and make a donation, let's say like 5 or 6 in the morning, and then they can come back later and make another one if they're trying to help you win a prize during another hour. So that's an option as well. Step 4 is the checkout and billing payment processing. We do not accept American Express. Please do not let your donors donate to American Express. All the transactions will fail. You will not get your donation. It will not go in at all. This was not a decision of our team. It's really our finance department. It takes so long to reconcile American Express donations that we just can't do it. If not, it would delay our process even further for getting checks out. So Visa, MasterCard, the normal transaction types. I believe, yes, we do accept ACH. So if people want to give through their bank account, they can absolutely do that as well. But the number one thing that I just want to really highlight here is American Express will definitely, every transaction will fail. And then we'll have to go back in and actually issue a refund that will have to go through our finance department.
Neosha, we have a couple people here asking if the billing and payment section prompts the user that American Express is not accepted. And I am sorry, my dog is barking.
Okay. No worry. Yes, so typically what will happen underneath the credit card information, and I will just confirm just to make sure with our provider that it does say American Express is not accepted. Sometimes people don't see it, and sometimes they will. I'm not sure if what I don't know is if it will recognize American Express when it's in there, like some payment processors. I just know that sometimes there's a little info bubble that says it's not there, but I'll double check with our provider to see if that's an option. let's see if there's another question on here. Sorry, 1 second. All right, question. Yes, the webinar will be available for the board if you do that. Okay, so in terms of accepting gifts from outside the US, if they have a way to put their bank account information in there and a credit card information, typically we should be able to do it. I'm not sure if it's anything that might be different on an international payment scale or anything like that. I do know we have had people who actually have made donations from other countries. So I would venture to say yes, but if you have questions, I would say let's test that out through or send me an email and I can ask the payment processor just to make sure I'm not telling you the wrong things. That's a question I've never had before. Here's a good question. Does the logins from previous years stay in the system or do we need to create a new login to pay this year? No, if you created a system over the past couple of years and you want to actually log in and actually go through that process and make sure your information is up to date, you can definitely do that. If you forgot your password, all you have to do is submit the forget password option and you'll be able to log in to actually do the checkout process. Once they check out and once they are done, they'll get a confirmation. It just says, thank you for your gift. This is a little outdated, it says 2018, but it'll say, thank you for your gift on the giving day, 2022. Every gift matters, share, all of those things. And then they will actually get an email receipt confirmation that says, thank you. And then they can keep that for their records. So, and then you as a nonprofit should send them a thank you for donating, either immediately or you can wait and batch it later on, but definitely please thank your donors. We do get a lot of feedback from donors that say, I never got a thank you, not necessarily a tax receipt letter, but an actual donation thank you from a nonprofit. All right, so here is another thing that's important. Technology is only great when it works, and it's only great when it doesn't fail. So we have not had any issues in the last 3 to 5 years, but we are recommending that you should have and must have an alternate way and form of accepting payments. It can be PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, your organizational website, but if something happens on Give STL Day and the site goes down, we will do our best to communicate immediately with every nonprofit via email. So make sure that you are signed up for our emails. But you need to be able to redirect your donors to someplace else. Neon One has about 3-4 fail-safes, cloud-based systems where we are hoping that doesn't happen. And they also do not host more than 2 giving days on one day. But just in case something catastrophic happens and we're in the middle of the day, we need to be able to redirect the donors into another way to be able to accept your donations. So that way we don't lose the momentum that we have throughout the day. So if you do not have an organizational website, if you don't have a PayPal, or if you don't have something like that, please, please, please take some time and figure out how to get your organization set up to accept donations in a different manner. Okay, so this is new for this year. We have not used it as of yet because we can't test it out yet because the site is not live. However, there is now this option for a donation embed code. This is what it looks like on the site. So this is from the Community Foundation's website. If you do not have a technology provider or a web developer who's on your website that can actually help you with this, I don't recommend that you use it. It's literally an option on the website on the back end. You just copy and paste some text code and you pop it into your website under HTML. We have a WordPress site, which is how I was able to generate this really quickly. And it just kind of goes on the site. And what will happen is it's just the blue button. I had to include the donate to the St. Louis Community Foundation Give STL Day campaign page, and this donate button will link me to my profile. I can't show you it live right now because it's not active because we're not accepting donations at the moment, but it is an option. And there is linked to instructions in the Resource Center if you are interested in doing this. This would be a great way also to include the donate button on if you create an ambassador landing page, if you create a landing page on your website for Give STL Day, but please note the donation button will link them back to the profile page to make the donation. So at least 2 clicks before they actually can be prompted to actually put in their credit card information to get the information out. Okay. All right. The last thing I really want to talk about is just follow the rules. Like, don't make our lives harder for us sometimes. Here are some of the rules that are really, really important. All the gifts made during Give STL Day must be 100% tax deductible. You cannot offer a premium for gifts made during the event. So basically you can't say, if you give me X amount of dollars, I will give you this in return. What we're trying to promote is the spirit of giving, not trying to incentivize donors to give you a donation because they get something in return. So, if you can't sell a membership by making them give. It basically is another option of that. We cannot offer tax credits to donors. And the other thing is that you should know is that you'll receive one single check with all of your donations by June 30th, 2022, reflecting all the donations and the prize dollars. We will basically print out the entire individual prize sheet that has any power hour dollars, any prizes, all the fees taken in and out of that donation, or all the credit card fees taken out of that, and then your total amount in aggregate. You will not have the total amount in aggregate on your nonprofit profile on the giving day. What you will be able to pull is the actual Give STL Day Excel spreadsheet that will look a little bit different than what you actually get in the mail. And that is because of that could be prizes, and that could be because of the actual credit card fees. Okay, so here are dates to remember. Like I said, registration is now open. Early giving is going to start April 5th. Please have your nonprofit registration profile and edits done by April 29th. If you are not registered by April 29th, you will not be able to participate in Give STL Day. We do try to accommodate as much as possible, but the reality of it is, if you're going to wait to the last minute to actually register to think about this day, you probably won't be successful unless you've been doing things on the back end and you've been promoting it, but you just hadn't signed up for it. On May 4th, we're recommending that all the fundraisers must be complete because May 5th is the giving day. So if you're going to create a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign, please have that ready to go and pretty much ready to go. So that way on May 5th, it's pretty turnkey. And then on May 5th, it's Give STL Day. Okay. New this year with our training schedule is we are going to start doing virtual office hours. So if there's questions that you may have around profile edits, if you want us to walk through Canva, if you want us to walk through how this embed code works, if there's really particular questions that you may have, Emily and I are going to make ourselves available on these dates for about an hour to just kind of walk through and answer any last minute questions that we might not be able to get through on a training. And it's just mostly just to be able to have more support for you all, especially for those who might need a little bit more support if you don't have a big team of people, or if something isn't clear, or if you can't get to us. So please save these dates if this is of interest to you. Just pop on in and we can just have a conversation. Here's also our 2022 training schedule. This is also on the website. All of the trainings are free. You just register to attend, and they all will be recorded and we will send them out. The next one is going to be February 3rd. I'm really excited about this one. Choosing the best digital marketing campaigns for your industry, budget, and goals. This one's going to be really exciting. It's Tim Evil from Beanstalk Marketing. He's going to talk a little bit about best digital marketing practices. And then we have a couple others in there. So please take advantage of these trainings. We have a great lineup this year. And, that's fast. Gonna go back, here we go. So I'm Neosha and Emily are on here. So if you have questions, you can email us directly. However, there's hundreds and hundreds of you and only 2 of us. So we recommend you either use the blue support center button or the info@stlgives.org button, just so that way we can get to you as quickly as we can. We're trying to give you multiple ways of contacting us. So if you do have questions, you can contact us at any time. So I am going to stop sharing and pause the recording so I can answer questions.